Hi, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Sisters of the Mystical Tarot with my good girlfriends, Marina from Heart Centered Tarot and Shari from Voices from the Swamp, who's feeling and looking a lot better. And
Yes.
Val she's working on a brand new bathroom. It's her primary bathroom.
Primary.
She can't have master anymore. So
That's
No,
right.
it's not a master bath.
Can't have a master bath. That was great. That was fun. So
Hi,
anyway, yeah, welcome everybody. Hi, Mary. Hi, Christine, Jill, and Carolyn and Peter, and
yes,
Dawn Turner's here. Thanks for being here, you
yes,
guys.
thank you,
Nice
thank
to see
you.
you all. Yeah.
Yep.
So interesting. We do have 2 questions later, and they were
Oh,
sent
wow.
in, and the questions are more like spiritual questions. So that really made me happy. So we're going to talk a little bit about our topic today, and then we'll talk about those 2 questions that the were sent in on my page, and hopefully we'll have some fun. Yeah. So,
poison.
yeah. So I just want everybody to know what it is we're talking about today. So it's my turn, and I said, how about how to operate from 5D when working with people or situations that are in 3D, more 3D energy. And it doesn't mean that we're better than anybody else, but we
By
also don't want to
far.
be sucked into that negative fear-based vibration. And then it says we can't remove ourselves really from it unless we are cloistered, if we're priests or nuns, I guess we might be able to. But we also need not to operate at that vibration and try to make sense of the nonsensical. So it's kind of a philosophical question in some ways, I guess. But we all have to go into areas of life that are covered with people that aren't quite in the same vibration. And we I'd love to hear what some of your suggestions are, ladies, and I'll give mine at the end. But Marina, I'll move this on to you, and whatever you can get out of this, you go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I have learned that one of the things I cannot do is I cannot change the mind or the energy of someone who refuses to see or hear what is
Mhm.
going on.
Yeah.
So if I if I try to um, if I try to get down to it, then I am making a conscious decision to go from the 5D down to the 3D. The 3D feels like walking, like trying to run through mud.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good. So I will then continue to stay in the 5D. And one of the ways I think that works for me, and it may work for someone else, it may not. Everyone has to find their own thing. But I think what seems to work best for me is to just listen to what they have to say, you know, give them
Yeah.
a nice smile and say, "Oh, that's so interesting."
I love that. Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
let it go.
Hmm.
I can still engage with them. I'm not being rude. I'm not being obnoxious
Hmm.
or anything else. It's
Hmm.
just I've acknowledged you.
Hmm.
What you have to say is really interesting, but I'm not going to get into a conversation with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Um, and I'm thinking about, if you have to go to, let's say the mall, I don't go to anymore. I can't, and I
Yes.
haven't been able to go there for a long time. But let's say I had to go into a shopping center, or
Yes.
maybe a supermarket, and um, I try to keep very peppy, I guess is the word,
Yes.
and smile and say hello to people. But I have felt very drained at times if I hadn't protected myself a little bit
Yes.
before I went in. So that's
Yes.
that's probably a really good thing to add to that. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's true.
Absolutely. Make a conscious choice to. I mean, I. You know what? I have done my protection exercise so often now that
Yeah.
I don't have to sit and meditate on it and whatnot.
Right.
I can just visualize myself,
Yeah.
sparkling. I'm surrounded by mirrors. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
it's funny because there are times when I will, especially if I'm grocery shopping, um, I'll have people coming towards me, and some of them kind of look up and they see me, and I get this lovely big smile, and I'll smile back. And
Yeah.
there are others that come by me, and I could physically see them moving their
They are
shopping.
retracted.
Yeah, and I think, okay, then, all
Yeah.
right, no
Yeah.
problem. It's like
I
it,
know.
They're
it
repelled.
offends them. Yeah,
Yes.
it repels
Yes.
them. Yeah,
And then I think there are also people that don't see you. Because I've been
yes,
smashed into, my card has been smashed into, and it's not like I see them coming at me like, I'm going to
yeah,
ram you.
No.
But it's
You
like,
are invisible to them. And then
yes, yes. It's strange.
it
It's very
is.
it
strange.
is.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
shifting. That's
It
when
That's
you're
the
in a
shift.
different vibration.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
And I
Yeah.
often think, I'm not a petite woman. Like,
Me either.
I'm going,
Yeah. Yeah.
Here, here.
you don't see me. Okay,
I
then.
may look petite from here up, but from here down,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one time there was a guy on his, this was probably about in 2010 or so. It was a long time ago. And he was on his cell phone and he was shopping, but he was not really looking at anything. And he smashed into me twice. And finally, I felt like his mother. I said, would you get off that GD phone? I said, you're
Yes.
not paying any attention to what you're doing. And he told me, oh, F you lady, and all this. And he's screaming at me. And of course, that wasn't a smart move on my part. But sometimes I feel like I got to call him out,
I know.
And
I know.
so I went to the manager and I said, this man's standing and screaming at me after he smashed into me twice. But it really didn't do anything. Nothing changed.
No, it never does.
Never
Yeah,
does.
that wouldn't.
No, and that's
They don't want to lose their customers.
Yeah. No, they don't. Yeah, absolutely. Val, what do you got
Thank
to say,
you,
girl?
Okay, well, it's a big subject. You can bring it
That's
down
very
to the level
Well.
of an encounter,
Mhm.
which I say to that, you aren't here to fix anyone.
Right.
And you don't have to engage in any conversation. But if somebody asks you something, you can answer it honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you do not have to come out of your comfort zone or a level of feeling. And if you feel like they are trying to get a rise out of you, that's your cue to sort of get yourself out of it, extract yourself from the conversation, because it's not going to get you anywhere. You're not here to change people's minds or do anything like that. They can do their own thing. You just stay neutral in your loving space of that fifth dimensional energies. But it's really true what you said about when you leave, both Allie and Marina saying, surround yourself with light, give yourself that protective energy, whether it's putting mirrors and reflecting it all out, however you do that, that's something that is a good thing to do several times during the day when you go into different situations like the store and you're in with people. But also releasing any judgment that you're going to be having judgments in those encounters.
That's true.
And that will drop you down into the 3D. So you want to stay out. You've got to stay out of that logical mind if you want to stay in that fifth dimensional energies, which is really heart frequencies. So that would mean that also anything that creates any kind of scarcity, lack, like you might read, oh, you got to run down and get toilet paper now because there's going to be a shortage, because you might have food shortages or things like that crop up. So you're really going to want to detach from that kind of reaction because that drops you down. So that's
fear brings your fear in. That's
fear
true.
will drop you down.
Yes.
Then really being able to harmonize with the higher frequencies every day. And that would just be, speak those high vibrational words. I am at peace. I am tranquil. I am that I am. Those I am statements of complete positivity that you are. Claim it as such. All those things. I am sovereign now. All those things that you would want to say about yourself, claim them and say them. So that will bring in higher dimensional frequencies as well. And it's really about being, not doing. It's not like you have to do something. You're just being this energy.
Right.
You already are this energy. You're just, you're letting yourself be this energy. So also, the world, the 3D world really thrives on division, separatism, materialism, limitation. And to help you recognize those illusions, it pops those things up in front of you. So you can go, oh, yeah, no, I don't choose that. And that's what it's really, you're bringing these things forward for that reason. So when those co-creations happen, it's really great to focus on that feeling of the highest frequency, but also the joy and creativity of that event. Oh my God, now I get to play and see how I can stay centered and balanced, not focused on that particular person playing the part in front of you, but take it back to yourself and how you're going to have fun with this. And this is going to be you staying centered and balanced. Make it a fun thing, and always be grateful for everything, because gratitude will bring you all the beautiful things that you are here to receive from the universe, which is universal flow. So whether you're narrowing it down to one little event or you're bringing it out to see it as the macrocosm, you're really going to do the same things. Stay in that center, calm center, and just let it all flow to you. And you can acknowledge it and look at it, but you don't have to drop down into it. You're going to bring yourself to an observation point and go, oh, how fun. Look at this. And you're going to play with it like it's a creative event.
Yes.
Like the universe gave you a creative event. How can I navigate this? How exciting and fun.
What an enigma. That's awesome. Yeah. So well, and it just reminds me of to act and not react. And that's exactly what Marina was when she said, well, that's interesting. No. It's on the 5th of November. I remember going to talk to my daughter and her husband because I was in fear mode, and you can understand why. But she was very upset with me for being that way. She didn't want to hear anything, so she kind of shut it down. And so I haven't seen her since then, except I saw her at Christmas and stuff, but I haven't talked about it anymore. And I got an email from her yesterday. I haven't heard from you in a long time. Is everything okay? I said, well, and then she wrote me back about how everything that I had said what was going to happen is happening. So that was very fascinating. But she wouldn't have said that, even a month ago. So,
her reaction to you is, oh, there goes mother again.
I know.
So then she got
mom.
Mom. Yes. But then you get into that calm space and you realize some of that was true.
Some of that was true. Some of that was true. And it's affecting me now. So we were talking about that. It's affecting and it's not always just us that we need to worry about. So
yeah.
Fascinating. Well, Shari, I'm going to give you the floor, my girl. You want to
Well,
dance?
it's. Shall we dance?
Yes.
Shall we dance? Do do do. I love the King and I.
Yes.
Um, uh, it's funny because when Marina said the grocery store, I was like, okay, wait a minute, she's reading my mind again. Because an example I had was the grocery store. Something that I have been told repeatedly by quite a few different psychics and readers in the last 4 or 5 years is did you know you have an angel right behind you? He's huge and he's just standing there with his wings. I'm like, I don't see it, I don't feel it, but
Yeah.
okay, if you say so. The first time I was told that, I thought, yeah, okay. And then it kept happening, and so
Mhm.
I started kind of thinking about it this week after you sent us the email on this, and I thought, it was like once it kind of broke through the barrier in my mind that I've got an angel on my back watching my every move, I started moving in, especially in public spaces, differently.
Ooh.
I started,
Yeah.
I had started like consciously saying to myself, like before I get out of the car or leave the house or whatever, just put me inside a bubble of golden light so that I'm protected.
Mhm.
And so I had started doing that several years back, but then the angel thing started kind of sticking with me. And when I thought about it this week, I thought, once I finally kind of started to accept what I was being told, I started moving in public differently. It's like I didn't move fear based. I would just barrel on through wherever I was going. I wasn't worried about it. I got
Yeah.
an angel on my back, so I'm good to go. It's the only thing I could figure that my brain had adopted and
Mhm.
adapted to what I had been told. And so as I thought about it this week, and I thought, it's funny how when I'm in the grocery store, and I tend to like, that's my escape route. A
Mhm.
lot of times
Mhm.
I will just like zone out and wander up and down the aisles kind of mindlessly because it's my free time. I'm not having
Yeah.
to respond to anybody.
Right.
But I find that, yeah, a lot of people will like just automatically move out of my way, not me moving
Yeah.
to the other side of the aisle. They will naturally just gravitate and move around me. And I'll get like the biggest smiles sometimes. And I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? And I didn't really think about it until this week. And I thought, well, I wonder if it's they sense the angel and I just never thought about it. But for whatever reason, when I'm walking through, it's like they step aside so that I can
Yeah.
continue to walk through. And they're not interrupting my mission, I guess would be the only word I could think of.
Uh-huh.
And so when I started thinking about it, I thought, it's odd because I make a point, especially places like grocery stores and whatnot, to say really encouraging statements to the workers because
Mhm.
I
Yes.
know they get crapped on so bad by everybody gets mad at them like it's their fault that the prices have gone up or this is out of stock or whatever. Um, and so I started thinking, well, maybe that's why I started doing that was because I felt that protection at my back, even though I didn't realize it.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then when I started to think about it this week, I thought, it's actually a really freeing feeling to know that you've got you've got your own angel, and we all have them.
Sure we do.
We all
Yeah.
have
And
angels
a
that walk
guide.
with
Yeah.
us all the time.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm.
I've just never been able to see one. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen tomorrow, but up to now, I've never seen one. And so I thought, if maybe if everybody realized that they had protection at their back, they would move a little more freely through
Mhm.
the crowds of people without being fearful. It's like
Mhm.
when I flew to LA last spring, And in the airport, as we were moving around through the airport, I would get my focus. We're going this way. Let's go. And just carry on, whereas other people were, you could kind of like feel the fear coming off of them.
Yeah.
And it was really encouraging to me this week to realize that I haven't felt that kind of fear when moving about in public in quite a while, since I opened this door back up and everything started happening. And it's like, wow, I didn't really think about it. And so, and the other thing that when Marina said it sparked a memory in me. When somebody says something that's very 3D, I tend to go, oh, I never thought about it that way before, and just, make it seem like it was just some really unique thing to say. And most people not quite sure how to take it. Did she just diss me, or is she giving me encouragement, So it just kind of, I think it's to be conscious ourselves of where and how we're moving, so that when we come up against the 3D, we're able to kind of slide through it. I guess is the best word I could think of. Is just kind of, you just slip right on through, like, oh, okay, hi, how are you? And I'm going on about my business, and if you get stopped, if you get stuck and you can't move through and you're having to deal with somebody in this 3D, it can be very difficult sometimes, depending on your own energy level, of being dragged down into that level or keeping yourself above it and still carrying on the conversation and trying to be encouraging to others.
Yeah.
But when you manage to keep yourself in that 5D, you don't get all weirded out like the others are down in 3D. It's almost like you're kind of floating above going, well, glad I'm not down there anymore.
Yes.
It's just, and it's like been
It's
just this
interesting, Shari.
unconscious thing. Yeah.
Yeah. When I remember when I was taking martial arts, and they said, they would show us the techniques. We don't want to hurt anybody, but we want to defend ourselves. And there's a difference.
Right.
And when they used to say, when you walk in public, walk and do not walk afraid ever, especially women, and make sure keep your eyes and ears peeled. But it was an empowering thing, so I can understand how you felt empowered by your experience if you thought of it that way. Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, and I've been operating like that for a while and just didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Until I started thinking about it this week and thinking, well, how do I manage to navigate that? I hadn't really thought about it before. And that's when it all the reminders of, you got an angel behind you. He's really big, and I'm like, well, I'm really big too, so I guess I need a large one, somebody that can cover all of me, right?
Yeah.
But
That's
but
cool.
yeah, it's like, I think with a lot of people that manage to float up to that level and they don't really realize it, they just know that they're a little happier and a little lighter. Things move a little smoother for them.
There you go.
And it's not until they maybe click in to why that's happening, that then you can make that conscious choice of which level you want to operate
empowerment.
at.
It's like us empowering ourselves.
Yes.
And we all are, we're not doing it to be better than anybody. We're just doing it because we have sovereignty over our bodies and ourselves.
Well, and as a woman, it's even more empowering because you have society that's constantly bombarding you with the message of you're weak, you're a victim, you're not as good as men, and you need a man to take care of you, and blah 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 blah. And which made me think of my mother, because when I was a teenager, she would always tell me, you don't need some damn man to take care of you, you take care of yourself. She was the perfect example of that. She raised 2 kids alone, so And
Awesome.
it just kind of
Ellie,
stuck.
you're-
Yeah.
Ellie, you're absolutely right, because I remember taking a a self-defense course, and excuse me, one of the things that they first talked about was, why is it that some women might get approached or attacked or ridiculed or whatnot, while others won't? And so they looked at the body language of different women to see what it was. And it's the when you're walking out in public and you are in that fear mode, your shoulders tend to be
Yeah.
down. You tend to
You
try to
bring yourself in.
hide your face from other people.
Mhm.
You try to make yourself as little in the space as you possibly can. Um, and those are all someone who is looking for someone to victimize. That is like a flashing light that says,
Yeah,
here
it
I
is.
am.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas if you walk somewhere, your head is held high, you're looking
Confident.
people right in the eye, and it's
Yep.
like, I'm not going to mess with her. No, no, no.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
It all is
So,
about our confidence and our
yes,
empowerment of that. Yeah.
yes,
That's
Yeah.
absolutely,
wow. I mean, that is
absolutely.
an aspect I never really thought about at all. And that's
And
wonderful.
it's something my mother taught me when I was like 15, 16, and she helped start a rape crisis center in our town.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And I spent more weekends than I care to count stuffing whistles and flyers in little
Yes,
plastic bags we would hang on doorknobs and
Uh-huh.
yeah,
doing she would do these with one of the local policemen who worked with her on it. And they would go to the schools and stuff to teach especially young girls what to do if someone grabs you from behind or if someone grabs you from the front. And I was always the victim, I would
yeah,
get to go play the victim and get thrown around and whatnot. But it built in moves that I find I still do to this day. If someone that puts off the wrong vibes gets too close,
yes,
Mhm.
I find it's like I kind of blow up and go back off, and it's
Yeah.
funny because when I think about it, it's like I can physically see them in my mind's eye backing off.
yes,
Whereas before I never really even thought about it. But
Yeah.
she was teaching me to do that when I was 15, 16 because she
That's
didn't want me to
awesome.
get hurt.
Yeah.
And
it's like the cobra, that
Yeah.
slithers back and forth, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden there's danger there, and boom, there it is, and it's looking at you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
yeah,
And
Absolutely.
it stands
And one
tall.
of the things they tell us too is collapse. If they come to,
yeah,
don't fight against collapse. And when I did that, I had a guy do that in practice, and I collapsed, and I ended up on the ground, and I took my fist and I went like I was going to hit him, where,
Yeah,
and my teacher went, "Wow." I mean, I didn't do it, but that it was what my first
yeah,
reaction was,
instinct.
and that isn't our
Exactly.
first thought that we're going to collapse. We want to run away. We're fearful. Yeah.
Yes.
So I love that.
yeah. That was something the police officer would teach. Would be the
Uh-huh.
collapse was
Yep.
was it was to just go completely limp and then you're a dead weight.
Yep.
Yes.
And they're
Yep.
going to have to haul you around
All you
as a
around.
dead
Yeah.
weight. And
You're absolutely right.
they're
You're
not going to want to
absolutely
do that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
thank you, ladies. Yeah,
very good
I don't
comment.
want to stop the conversation, but we did have two important questions that were on the post today, so we're going to go into them, and they're kind of a little involved. So, um, it's Tea Garden Chicken says that she has pets. They're sensitive to my and the world's vibrations, and I try to remember to be positive and wrap us all in love and peace. I even include all the plants and animals in my yard, in my car. Send love to the food and water you ingest. You need love too. Can't wait to hear your suggestions. Thank you, Tea Garden Chicken. Yeah,
That
that's a great
that
idea.
sounds, that sounds fabulous. Like you're doing what you should be doing, and thank you for sharing that with us, because
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes as much as I honor my animals, there are times when I forget that I need to honor them, that I need to thank them for their energy and for their protection and so on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
As an aside, Linda Bishop says, I just got here grocery shopping, $707.16.
You bought bacon and eggs, didn't you?
Probably. She got too many eggs.
I just go for my husband and I for a few weeks. I'll go to the store, I'll come home, and I've spent almost 400 just for two people.
I don't get it. Yeah, I know. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry,
from
my
it.
dear.
It's
That would-
gotten
yeah, you're
outrageous.
stocking
It
up.
would have been 200, but now it's 400.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember when $20 you'd have a full basket.
Yeah.
No, I mean like a year
And
ago.
now
200, and now it's 400.
$50 for 2 items, you know, it's crazy.
I'm not even talking about from an older date.
Right.
I'm really talking only a year ago. It was.
Yeah, I know. Not that
Yeah.
long ago. You're right. Yeah.
It's just shifted. Food has become, since the
So-
COVID days, food has been ridiculously priced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
It
I
has.
love Tea Garden Chicken's, and I love that she includes all that she includes. I'm thinking that with the summer coming up, we might also want to, think about the little fairies and gnomes and all those little
Yes.
creatures that are out there as well. But go ahead.
I
Yeah.
just want to say, one of my practices every day is when I make my chai tea latte in the morning, my first thing,
Right.
I always say to that chai tea latte, I tell it what it is being imbued with for the day, what I energetically. So whatever you want to
Yeah,
say,
what a good idea.
program it with,
And your
whatever-
food. Yeah.
your food, your chai tea latte, whatever you're doing, give it that conscious direction, because that conscious intention, just like you do water and anything like that, you're going to change the energy of it, and it's going to work better for you, work better in your body. But that was beautiful. But when you want to encompass everything, when you're doing meditation, when you're sending out light, just send it to all that is. Send it to everything. You don't have to call out specifics. Just send it out to all that is. That includes all consciousness, all conscious and sentient beings, which is everything.
Right.
Even rock. So you're including the elemental kingdom and Mother Earth and everything. And you don't have to feel like you've got to call out 200,000 different things. It includes all that is, the unity of all that is, that one that we all are.
I find it very fascinating, and I'm not the only one, but I talk to my dogs and tell them what I'm doing. And I don't mean like everything, but
I tell Jack my car. I say, Jack, you're gonna come with Mom. We're gonna take a run to the store. I Jack is my car.
That's cool.
Conversations.
Yeah,
So,
Yes.
I get
I've
it.
always talked to my car.
Yeah.
I have a towel that I wrap up and put a rubber band on, and I prop it in my bed to put my iPad on when I read books. So my iPad's on the side when I lay down. I call him Herman.
Herman. Nice.
Okay.
My husband calls him Herman because sometimes he gets lost in the bed sometimes.
Sure. Where's Herman? That's funny. But I'll tell my dogs, I'll say, I'm just going to get to the mailbox. I'm going to be right back.
I always
get all stressed out sometimes. So.
They even understand you, believe it or not. They understand you.
Oh yeah, they understand a lot more than people give credit for.
That they do, because they have those buttons now the animals can press to talk. Their understanding is pretty big. So
Maureen's car is named George. We'll have a whole bunch of them.
Absolutely. Well, we have Nellie Bell, Mr. Beamer, and Jack. We have 3.
There you go.
Okay.
And you're right. I had to run out this afternoon to go pick up a few things. And yes, as I'm leaving, I'm saying, okay, you guys, and grandma's going to be gone for a little while. Claire, charge, everybody get along.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. Just
Absolutely.
Now that I think of it, Val, I used to call my RV Harvey the RV
There you go. I
in the
mean,
Boston accent. Yeah.
it's
in the
pretty
Boston.
hard not to make up names for your
Yeah.
and they have their own personalities. I don't care if they're
Oh,
vehicles.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They do.
So,
Yeah, they absolutely do. They're rarely wrong is right, Mary. You know what's really interesting is when you get a set time that you come home or someone comes home
yeah.
and they know and they stand by
stand
the
at
door.
the door.
Yeah. And it's like then somebody walks in, it's like, oh my God. Yeah, they have that sixth sense. Yeah,
they
they
do.
do. Sherry,
I
any
know.
suggestions from you?
Well, I know in talking about, I mean, I talk to our animals all the time. Sometimes not very nicely, but that's just because they
They
get
don't
on my
like that,
nerves.
Sherry. They said,
I
don't
know
do
they
that.
don't. They show me that. Yes, believe me.
Uh-huh.
But it's funny because the stray cat that lives on the patio, when she first showed up was when she had her last litter of kittens, and I started calling her Mommy, and the name just kind of stuck, and so I still call her Mommy. And so you can go out there and call just about any name, and she ignores people. But if you go out there and say Mommy, she'll look up like, yes, you're talking to me.
Yeah.
You know, she's
Cool.
allowed my son and I to get close enough that we can pet her sometimes when she's in the mood. But she doesn't let anybody else around her. But it's funny because there are times when I go out there and she'll be in her little nesting box that we've got set up for her. And I'll go out and, oh, hey, Mommy. And I'll start talking to her. And she'll just lay there and look at me like she's just digging on
Taking it
every
all
word
in.
that I'm
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, you know.
Wow.
And when she had the kittens, the last batch, you know, when anytime I would go to pick up the kittens, even when they were tumbling and rumbling all over the ground themselves, I would always look at her and ask, is it okay if I pet this one? Is it okay if I play with this one? I would always ask her first before I would pick one of the kittens up. And so she never had like a reaction to it. She was like totally cool with, okay, you're babysitting now, bye. And she'd go take off and go roam or do whatever, you know. So
Yeah.
Yes.
but yeah, I mean, I talk to the car. Currently, I'm driving that station wagon of rocks, and it's tank. That's just what I call it. It's just tank, and I'm in the tank because it's like a Mack truck would not survive a head-on collision with this car.
That's a good part of him. Yeah.
I would walk away, no problems, you know.
Exactly.
But yeah,
You
so
probably go to the bumper and go, we're okay.
yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Anything else, ladies? We got the next question from Jules Niner. Are we ready to tackle that one? All right.
Yes.
Hello to everybody that's come in. We did get 2 questions today from my post board, and so that's what we're doing. This is from Jules Niner. How do each of you reconnect with your inner child with the events taking place and having to adult? What seems to be very difficult now is connecting with the courageous, wide-eyed, adventurous self, but we often forget. Thank you, Jules.
You know, I've been doing some guilty pleasure reading. There's a lot of, I'm just going to tell you, Harry Potter fan fiction. These writers write whole entire stories.
Oh,
like
yeah.
30,000 words. I mean, these people are writing, and I'm in the Dramini category. That is Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger combo. And these people write just unbelievable stories. Some of them are so romantic and fun. And it really takes me
and they've done it with the Star Wars characters, Star Trek characters.
Outlander. I've seen it with the Outlander characters as well.
For everything. I mean, you really can. And there's one particular archive where a lot of this is written, where you can download it and go right to iBooks or Kindle. pop it in there if you download it, so you can make the words as
That
big as
is
you
so
want.
fascinating.
And
You know, when I was doing my
sometimes-
master's,
Mhm.
I wrote this. I had read The Death of Ivan Ilyich, which is
Mhm.
Leo Tolstoy's stuff.
Yes.
And I wrote about what his wife went through after he died.
Oh, there you
And
go.
I got like,
Yeah.
that was one of my theses.
And
I
people
loved
would
it.
love that who are really following
Mhm.
that story, because
Right.
that fulfills all their,
Right. They want to know what happened to that bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are where these fanfics take off with it, or they'll
Yeah.
change a few things in the canon
Cool.
and expand on it, or
Or
write about.
rewrite a backstory to
Yeah, it's a
someone.
whole
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother.
That's amazing.
It's very
It's
know
really
it.
amazing to see the
Yeah.
fan fiction that people come up with for
It's
their
amazing.
favorite characters. It's
They don't
absolutely
get many
wild.
for
I
this
mean,
because it's a J.
Right.
It's a
yeah,
J.
it's just
Rowling
something.
thing. So, or RK? No, it's J.K. Rowling. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not. It's her thing,
Right.
so they can't make money off
They
of
can't
it.
make money on it. Right.
But
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, it is worth money. It is worth money. One
That's
wrote
wonderful.
so good, so beautiful and long a story that they are making it into a movie, and they are actually going to change all the characters out so that they can,
Right.
sort of rewrite it so it can be her own work for,
Right. Right.
you know,
With her own characters.
yeah.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it is easier to do it when you're doing fan fiction because you know the characters intricately from reading about them, and you don't
Yeah,
have to invent them. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and Allie, you've got
Yeah.
the point there, because that is it.
Yeah.
You care about those characters because you know
Yeah.
them. The Harry Potter series, for instance, and so
Right.
your heart gets engaged. You actually cry over things, and so
Yeah.
you're having this little kid kind of emotion. All this stuff comes out about it, and it's like living those characters' lives again in a different way through these.
Sure.
So
Through the
in that
stories.
way, it's a kind of my fun kid thing, because yeah, it's not an adult kind of thing.
I am definitely the superheroes movie watcher. I love
Mhm.
the Avengers and all that.
Yeah.
Guardians of Guardians of the Galaxy just came out with Volume 3, their third movie, and it was so different, but yet not, because it had to continue in the new timeline of what was set with the older Marvel stuff and what happened with all of that. But I found myself sitting here for 3 hours sobbing my eyes out over and over and over again, because little things that kind of would get leaked in the first two movies and whatnot, having to do with a different character backstory or something, but
Mhm.
just a couple of sentences would be dropped, and some people would speculate on it, and well, what if, and what if, and well, evidently the guy that put together the first one and then did the second one and now has done the third one, they stuck with the same person. It was his story. And when you see the third one, all the little clues that were put in the first two movies,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
that's what that meant. Oh my God, that's what he was doing, and it was really, I mean, it was very fulfilling because it kind of brought everything full circle for this
Mhm.
band of characters. Some of them in different ways that you weren't expecting it to go, but it was truly enjoyable. I mean, like I said, I sat here and bawled my eyes out. I was like, I cannot get over that. I'm crying over an animated or animatronic raccoon that's kind of the leader of the group, um, who's like this super genius because of stuff done to him when he was like a little bitty baby raccoon. And it's like, oh, it explains his personality so well and why he is the way he is. And it lets you see his true inner self, which was just, like I said, it was very full circle feeling of bringing everything back around and being able to close the chapters on these characters. There'll be more movies, I'm sure, with the same characters,
Mhm.
but they will go off into a different, I'm sure, in a different vein because of what was revealed in this third movie. But it's stuff like that. I really, it's there are certain authors that I read that write series, in books that, oh yeah, I can get lost for weeks at a time
Mhm.
reading one book after the next, after the next, after the next. And
That's awesome.
so yeah, it's I love that kind of stuff. That's my child. When
Yeah.
my
Well,
child needs to
and
be
it's
fed,
so
it's Disney Channel.
yeah, and it's so important to have that escape from the
Yeah,
real world. I
yeah.
love that. Marina, did you tell us what you do?
I haven't.
Okay.
I do like to honor my inner child. So, I take time to reward myself for a job well done. I make it a point not to talk to myself negatively. And not
Yeah.
to say things like, "Oh God, you're so stupid," right?
Don't.
Because
Right.
yeah,
Right.
that can be hurtful. But you know,
Uh-huh.
practical things. I love to color.
Me
I
too.
love to get creative with crafts and different
Mhm.
things. I love to write stories. I have on several occasions found myself as I'm driving from one place to another and I've got a little bit of time to kill and there's a park. I'll go sit on the swing and I'll swing back and
I
forth.
love to sit on the
Mhm.
swings and swing. Oh, that's my
Mhm.
favorite thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's not a case of, oh, someone's going to come by. And even if they do, someone's going to come by and say, oh my God, look at that old lady on the swing. And I don't care.
Yeah. Doesn't
I'm
matter.
doing it for me. It's
Yeah.
my,
Yeah.
it's, yeah, time to let that inner child have a little bit of fun, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Can
much
I
fun.
have two desserts after supper? Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Not
Or before
now
supper.
or before
For
supper.
breakfast.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Or,
so for me,
well, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, that's okay. You finish. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say sometimes, and it may sound weird to some people, but as I walk by a mirror and I look at me and I'll smile and say, "You're doing good today.
There you go.
You're
We
doing
need
good."
those affirmation. We
Yes,
Yeah.
really do. Yeah.
yeah,
That's some people put them up on their mirror even,
yes,
to remind them that
yeah.
they need to do
Shut
that.
up. You look great.
You look fine. You're you're
Yeah.
you're not 17 anymore.
Thank God.
I know, I didn't like it either. I didn't like it either. So when I was in growing up and into college, I was always into theater and loved to play all the parts. I just
Mhm.
enjoy that so very much. So now, in the last probably 20 years, I've been changing that over and becoming a person that goes to these medieval festivals where
Oh
you
yeah.
dress up,
Yeah.
where you dress
Yeah.
and I Keith loves it too. He used to do the same thing. So I had a full, beautiful queen costume, and he would be my consort. And people are coming up to you and saying, um,
Yes.
something like, "If you don't do this, you're going to lose your head," because that's part of the whole
It's
thing. You
part
have
of
to
the
play
yeah.
into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
My
But
brother does that with his son every year for the
that's wonderful.
for
Yeah.
the
Like
the
escaping into a whole new another
Oktoberfest type
world.
thing. Yeah, he
Uh-huh.
full costumes, both of them. Full
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
costumes, makeup.
Yeah.
He shaved his head one year and painted his scalp orange because of the character he played. And now he had to go to school 2 days later and teach
Yeah.
like that,
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
but his kids all think that's just so cool because Mr. Miller does that kind of shit.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean they really get into it. And
Yeah.
it's fun to watch them get ready.
Oh
They're
yeah.
like two little
It's really
boys. They're so
yes.
excited about getting all dressed up. It's
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's one of
That's
the
yeah,
reasons that I love the different, like Mardi Gras, like what is the Halloween? any reason to get dressed up
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
and to kind of,
Be somebody different.
To change,
Yeah.
To imagine yourself as somebody different. That is
Yeah.
fun. It takes you out of.
And you don't have to wait for Halloween to do it. You can do it
No.
any damn time of the year that you want
really
to.
can. You really
You know?
can.
Yeah.
When we used to go through Walmart, when I went to Walmart, and we were really bad off. We had maybe $20 to spend on food, but Keith would grab me and dance with me down the aisle. And we just went along with it, and that's a very kid thing to do. And we really didn't care what anybody thought. We just had a great time. And I miss that now. It's like, it's one of those things that kind of goes away after a while, but it's part and parcel of staying kid-like.
Well, my husband and I, you'd think we were little, 13-year-olds, because we're singing to each other, and we're, instead of talking like we're getting ready for bed, and we're singing back and forth. And
there you go.
We always, and I said, if anybody ever saw us, they'd think we were crazy. We're always singing.
Fun. Yeah.
We're always singing to each other, singing made up songs or include our name. And
It's fun. My
Now,
friend,
there's many a time people that have watched me live hear my brother walking around the house singing because he forgets I'm on air, and he'll be singing. He'll sing to the sink and the dishes. He'll sing to the supper, just whatever he's doing. He sings it, and he can't.
Very helpful.
He can't carry a tune in a bucket like me.
It doesn't even matter though.
It doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter.
You don't want to hear me. But it's fun.
It is fun. So some night, do what my friend's ex-husband actually did, but they laid down and he said, "Good night," he said. And she said, "Good night," she said.
Isn't
that perfect? I mean, it's just really fun. Yeah.
Absolutely. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah. Those silly things are so much fun.
They are.
Have fun with it. Have fun with it,
Yeah.
Child in us all that needs to come out and play.
I mean, you see it more in lower grades, like K through 12. You'll see teachers and stuff that'll really get into playtime. But one thing I've discovered at the university, especially when you get some of the student groups that have special events that they put on, and how the professors around them will get more excited and more into what they're doing than the kids, are doing,
I dress up for Halloween when I go in. And what I did was I was a bee one time, and I brought in a package of bit of honey. And I gave it out to everybody. And it was, I didn't care what anybody, and somebody said, "Do you have any other candy?" I said, "No, I'm a bee. I only have bit of honey." But it's fun. Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. Anyway. Wow. Well, I know that was a lot of a chit chat, but thank you to both Jules and to Tea Garden Chicken for bringing
both
us
great questions. Yeah,
they were great. They were great. I mean, we don't have to read on them, and I love that. And in the chat, I'm also seeing a lot of other suggestions from other people that love doing what they do. Anybody a big teddy bear hugger? I have one. When I'm feeling really sad, I get my teddy bear.
I have teddy bears. I haven't hugged them in a while, but I'm a big teddy bear lover myself. Yeah.
Did you know there's a museum down in Florida somewhere on the West Coast that's a teddy bear museum? Yeah, I've been to it. It's fun. They have the ones from 1910 or whatever, whatever they were before. Yeah.
The Stife bears. Oh gosh.
Yes, the Stipes. Yes. Yeah, they're really cool. Anyway. Well, all right. So what have you got going on this week, Marina? Anything we need to know about? I guess Friday night's booked.
Friday night is booked. Yeah, you'll have to come on my channel as Allie's going to join me, and we're going to do story in the cards. I'm hoping something happens in the news so that
Yeah, it's so boring right now. Yeah,
I know it is. Yeah. So we have
to talk about.
Yeah, something will come up. And tomorrow We've got messages for light workers,
You do.
and Gal is going to join me, and I'm looking forward to that because it is always a surprise, and I'm always surprised that I'm surprised at how well it all comes together. So
It's amazing.
yes,
It's always profound.
yes, absolutely, and yeah, love that. I'm supposed to have on Friday. I'm supposed to have TELUS, which is our internet provider, is supposed to come up and do upgrade some of the stuff that we have, but I'm not going to do anything until the morning or Friday morning because they generally tend to call late on Thursday evening or the night before the appointment and say, "Oh, we don't have the planning permission yet." So, we're going to have to, it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's my big thing. Otherwise, you know what? For those of you that are members of my channel, I'll be putting together a members only chat get together for the 15th. That's Saturday the 15th, and then the Shine Your Light event on the 22nd. So keep checking that.
I got somebody that you need to put into that. I'll tell you later. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Absolutely.
Val,
Yeah.
how about you? Val, I know you got message for light workers.
Yeah. Channeling class is coming up March 23rd, and you all can go to dragonflycrystals.store if you want to get into channeling class. What will happen? You will connect that first day with your guides, your angels, anyone you want to, your higher self, divine source, and you will receive messages. And the class, it's 3 classes on Sundays, but it starts March 23rd. You might want to sign up for that if you say to yourself, "Oh, I never can talk to my guides." Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can. I'll make sure. Yeah.
And then Ellie and I are doing psychic mediumship classes. There's 3 of that, 3 in that series on April 5th. And they're on Saturdays. So sign up for that also, because you will be learning how to connect to your those who have crossed over. In that vein, it is similar to channeling. That's what really, it's telepathic communication.
Sure.
Whatever you want to call it. It is talking. You're having a conversation and you're hearing it. Usually not audio from your ears, but you hear it as a thought voice. These are the things that you might not realize are happening, and you think it's you.
Right. Because it's my voice. Well,
yes, exactly. It's your voice, but it's not necessarily something you would say, but you go, "What?"
Cool.
It's so soft that you might not realize it. So
it is soft. Yeah.
So yes, dragonflycrystals.store if you want to sign up for those.
Thanks,
okay.
Yeah. And Shari?
Well, the rest of the week is kind of light. I've got some videos for members and stuff that I need to get taken care of, and I got a personal reading coming up that kind of came out of the blue, and I was like, "Oh wow, cool!" And then Friday night is polyterology with Colleen, the Cool Crone, and in our little group. And let's see, we've got the members meeting for Allie's channel on Saturday. And I've got Mastering Mental Wellness with Isaac on Sunday, and I forgot what our topic is. I'll have to go find my notes. And because the last show we had like 5 or 6 really good suggestions for the upcoming shows, because we had run out of all of our ideas. It's like, okay, guys, it's up to you now. You got to tell us what you want us to talk about. And yeah, just working. I finally got my monitors switched out and things rearranged so that I can actually have space to put the other camera to look at the cards when I'm doing readings and stuff. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm just working on that. And
Cool.
that's about it for right now.
right.
So
Thank you.
I
Linda
just wanna
Kennedy
throw in
said
there- I'm
you have
sorry.
a members meeting on Thursday.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just want to throw it for my members. Yeah, Thursday.
and I'm planning a members meeting for my members. I just it'll probably be the 22nd, so or the 23rd,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right in
And
that
I
area.
have mine on
Yeah.
Saturday at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 Eastern.
Yes.
And next week we will have, I think, Shari, or is it you, Marina? I don't know who's
Marina's
hosting.
next,
Marina's
Me.
next. All right.
and then
Yes.
me. Yeah.
Yep. So we'll be on Marina's channel next Wednesday. Thank you
Yes.
to everybody who came today, moderators and yeah,
Yep.
my lovely
Yes.
Don't
sisters.
forget,
Yeah.
don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to
There you go.
everyone's
Yeah.
channel.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thanks,
yes,
everybody.
yes.
Have a wonderful evening.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
y'all.
Bye.
Love y'all. Bye.